morning, everybody. I'm heading to Wilmington again. We're going to start our second system in the big house. Communicating 4-ton system, 16 SEER, with the use of an, like I said, ASZC 16, and actually a modular blower and cased coil.
Well, there's our first unit, our 2-ton, and now moving on to the 4-ton second unit. About to recover it, take it out. Then lastly, we'll be moving on to the package unit. We have an American Standard TWEA 48. American Standard. There's our air handler. We're in the crawl space. It's a pretty big boy. But condensate pump buried in the ground. We'll have to get back with the condensate pump, although this one runs right over to here and dumps. It runs the rest of the way out. We'll just run it all the way over to the wall. I don't know why. Just want to dump it right there. I'm not sure about that. But as for today, we'll be ripping a whole bunch of crap out. We have a huge plenum back there. All this old ductwork, of course. But makes you appreciate service work. Well, there's our open cavity where the blower used to be. You can see the heat strips right there. There's our heater panel with electronics in it. Our lines, and there's our coil. What I wanted to show you guys is this. It's a big gap right there. It's been sitting there for 20 years, 22 years, with just tape over it. There's the value in learning the sheet metal right there. Wouldn't take very long to plug that, but it's just been sitting here with tape over it for God knows how long. Now there's our old coil, which looks like a replacement because it's coated black. Blower and air handler. Our old flex we got out. It's just a flex, and there's more on the other side of the house. And then wait till you see the duct. Here is the extensive duct system we pulled out. That's all square pipe or rectangular pipe. Quite a bit of it, probably close to 100 feet of duct. The new stuff will be a lot tighter and a lot more efficient. Well, we've gone through our yard and picked up every bit of debris we can. All the flex is gone, the air handler's gone, put up in bags. Got most of it. Can't get everything, but come back tomorrow, get the last few bags, and go ahead and get started setting the modular blower and coil and get to work on the duct system. Alright guys, I'm back at my shop. I have a little shop at my house. And I'm building the plenums for the back and front of the modular air handler. Right now I'm working on a return plenum, but about 1/2 of it there. And I'm about, here's my little brake. It's a little 4-foot brake. To brake the second half of the plenum, put the cross brakes in it. And I'm going to put it together with S-lock. Just because that's the easiest thing for me to do with the equipment that I have, which is this one brake. So I'm going to put those together, put an end cap in it, and also going to line that as well. And then I will move on to the supply box. Well, there she is, all done. The return box is completed. I believe that last dimension was 19 by 21.5, or 19 by 22.5. But we're all done. I'm going to mastic up the seams and let it dry out. Then a little bit later I'm going to do the supply box. Well guys, it's getting pretty late at night here. As you see, it's dark outside except for my sheet of metal there. But I have finished up the supply fitting as well. It's a little bit different than the return fitting. It sort of has a cantilevered aspect. If you can see there on the bottom, it kind of breaks back. That's so I have enough room on the end of it to put a 16-inch collar and still not intrude in the access area, as we will find out when we get back down to the job site tomorrow. You guys might not be able to see this very well, but this is our modular air handler in place in the crawl space. Unfortunately, let's see where it's at. There it is. I broke the light bulb with my head, like usually happens when I do this. See from the middle, there's actually brackets on the top and bottom that hook these two together. The CHPF coil, which is horizontal A coil, and then the modular blower, which is right here. To put it in perspective, Goodman doesn't sell a whole lot of these modular blowers, I guess, because while my coil was built this year, my modular blower was built in 2010. So I guess it's been sitting around for a while. And you see down there, in between the two plenums, there's a return plenum for the other system. You can see our box we made. We are now behind the unit. This is some 16-inch flex I've just run over. About 50 foot. 2 boxes of flex. We enlarged the return from 14 to 16 because it was not quite enough air for a 4-ton system. As we see here, there's our collar I've installed for the 12, but the 12 they somehow gave me KP Thermoflex, which is black flex, and I wanted silver, so I'm going to have to get some silver. But there's our collar all masticed and ready on our box, and that's all for today. I'm going to go pick up some boots and this flex, and we can get started again on, well, the beginning of the week. Well, we are back at our modular air handler. It's been a couple days. What we did, we went ahead and finished all the ductwork. Here's our supply box I made. It's about 3 foot long. Mastic and going down that way, running down to the end of the house is about 50 foot of round pipe, and 10 branch ducts come off of that. Now off the back of this box, off the back side going diagonal toward the front of the house, there's another 50 foot of duct heading that way. And I'll try to put up a picture of it so you can see sort of the schematic we're talking about. 14-inch round pipe starting both directions, reducing down to 10. Basically we have 4 tons of air, reducing down to 2 tons of air, 1 ton at the end of this one, 1 ton at the end of that one. So basically 2 branch runs that are carrying 2 tons and then reducing down. But that's all done. It took a couple days because it's quite extensive. And now we are going to add the TXP and brace things up and then move on to the drain and the startup process. Okay guys, the brazing is all done. The flare is on for the equalizing port for the TXV. As you see, it comes around and connects to the TXV. It's a sensing bulb. We'll attach it to the suction line here. Insulate everything. I'm pressure testing it right now to make sure it holds pressure. Then I'll finish everything off as far as mounting the bulb. Not much use to mount the bulb if I got a leak or something like that. So I just wait till the test is over. Right now I'm going to take this condensate pump, move it out in front of this plenum so I can run some S-locks into the ground, screw it in place so it doesn't move anywhere, and then run the drain over to it from our drain connection there. The drain is all done now. That is a Best Tech float switch. The P-trap backs up, the switch rises, cuts power to the system. It can be done in several ways. Cutting power to yellow, cutting power to red. These are low voltage wires. Yellow is typically the contactor, red is usually 24 volt hot. But in this case, since it's a comfort or a communicating system, you cut power to a certain part on the board. There's terminals that you just plug into. I think it's CAS is how they denote those terminals. I'm not sure what it means. That's where you take your float switches and freeze switches and things like that. Alright guys, I got the line all insulated. Freeze switch is insulated. TXV has its little shroud on. I may need to adjust it, but we'll wait and see. Everything looks good over here. I tested the pump by pouring water in it to make sure it would pump out, and it does, so that's good. I actually went in and started things up a second ago, and it could not locate the outdoor unit. What that is that it has a communicating thermostat that'll tell you what pieces of communicating equipment are attached whenever you start it up, and it said there was only an air handler. So I went out to the outdoor unit, and it was a cross data wire. So if you get into that situation, you can check your data wires and make sure they're all matching. Mine was not. I wired the thermostat and the air handler here, and my brother wired the outdoor unit, and we just wired it opposite. So it happens. Shit happens, my friend. So we're going to start it up now and see how we're doing. Alright, our number 2 unit, the 4-ton heat pump, is online. They look good together. 2 down, 1 stinker to go. I just came online. We're looking at about 247 over 127. So should be rising up a little bit here, leveling out. So we'll give her a few minutes and we'll let her get up the second stage and set the charge. Our charge may be a little bit low. We have a 253 psi head, a 5.2 subcooling. We're shooting for closer to 8 degrees of subcooling. Superheat looks good. Suction pressure looks good. Airflow throughout the house is relatively uniform. I'm very pleased about that. Duct system worked out very well. So I might add a little bit of charge and I think this sucker will be done. Well, I came to put a little charge in it, went to get my stuff, and by the time I came back, we're all the way up to 8. I was going to let it run for a few more minutes, but I'm glad we did. because we're looking pretty good. Superheat climbed up a little bit, but I think it's going to settle back down. We look pretty squared away as far as this one. She's running really nice. Everything turned out really well, and I'm a happy guy.